This is what JP says. I know that Brian shares some of his missteps fairly often. What are some of the financial choices that Bo has made?
Oh, come on.
Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect.
Come on.
That he has some regret or should have zigged where he zagged?
Guys, I don't know how to break this to you. I'm pretty much flawless over here. I don't really have any that I can share. No, that's not
honestly,
true.
I mean, I know you've shared some before.
Of course, yeah.
But I guess JP has heard more of Brian's stories.
Yeah, right. So I have some. I mean, obviously, we did.
By the way, I'm over here writing down some for you.
Brian's making his list.
He's like, well, Bo did this.
A bunch of them. We shared earlier in this show, or we shared in a different highlight clip. One of the things that I've made is I used to chase yield on high yield savings accounts, and I got okie doked. I got a little bait and switch on there. Another financial misstep is, when I graduated from college, I went and interviewed. This guy that I interviewed with, he didn't hire me at first, so I had to call him a few months later and say, hey, knucklehead, why didn't you hire me?
Wonder who that was.
It ended up working out. Once I got that offer letter, I was like, boom, I'm rich. And I was like, I can't drive this paid-for F-150 with a big dent in the front anymore. I got to get my big boy car. So I went out and bought Acura TL. It was so fancy. It was so shiny and awesome. And I went and pulled the thing on it recently. It had a 9.25% interest rate on it. But did I care? No, I didn't care, because when you finance it for like 5 to 7 years, what's it matter, right? So that was that was me not being wise. Early on in life, this is another one I did. This maybe was a good decision, maybe not. Publix used to have these deals where they would sell cereal and they would buy one, get one free. Well, I recognized as a financial mutant, if I just went on Monday and bought 18 boxes of cereal, I only had to pay for 9 of them. And I would eat that for every meal. I would, in the morning, eat cereal. I'd go to work. And then when I come home, I'd eat cereal. Not the greatest for the health, but that was probably being a little, penny wise, pound foolish, thinking about the long-term things that could go wrong there.
Do you want me to share a few?
My first
Of
house.
Bo's mistakes?
Yeah, Bo's mistakes.
Yeah,
I love
please.
this because we've been together so
Yeah.
long. It's so fun, and these are fun to talk about. I can think about individual stocks.
Oh, yeah, I did that
you shared.
one.
Now I wasn't in your life, but
Nope.
you talked about it in college. You bought some individual stocks,
Well,
and they did well, and you still hold some of those as kind of a learning lesson to yourself.
I took my very first investments class, and I recognized I know this. Are you kidding? I figured out the stock market, right? I can do this. So I went and bought some individual stocks, and turns out I didn't know it. Turns out I didn't have it figured out.
We'll go to, because this thread kind of has some additional meat on it. I feel like we're at the Brazilian steakhouse, so we're still shaving a little bit more off of it.
The light's still green.
So when you were getting your CFA, Bo, by the way, if y'all didn't know, Bo's a CFA.
Hey.
That's a pretty hard designation to get. But I remember when he was getting that designation, once again, we were like, man, we've outsmarted the system. But somehow I was the funding source
Well, I
of
didn't
this.
have any money.
So we came up with these options trading strategies.
yeah.
And let me tell you, the worst thing that can happen with an options trading strategy is you hit it on your first
Get it
attempt.
right the first
Because you're
time.
like, oh my gosh, I'm a genius. I've actually figured out, I'm the next Warren Buffett. I've figured out how to do this. So we did it on Apple. We thought that, so we hit it. I mean, we turned a few $100
bought
into
some
a few
call
$1,000
options,
bucks. And we were rocking and rolling. We're like, okay,
Let's double down.
Bo, you're a genius. The CFA is already paying dividends. What's our next trade? And we're like, okay. Well, I think Netflix is way overvalued right now. Why don't we do some put strategies on this? So we played that. Well, guess what? I do want to give Bo credit. He was spot on with the prediction on Netflix. Because it went from it was in the like $200-$300 a share, fell all the way down to $40 a share. But here's the problem with stock options. If your timing is off, you get hosed. Because Bo was spot on with his assessment. However, he was about 4 months early.
Yep.
So our option expired worthless. And I think we just recently set up I let that account sit there with like $120 in it.
$215.
Yeah, I let it just sit there
$215.
forever because I was just embarrassed with what we did, because we turned a few $100 into a few $1,000 and then wrote it down to $200. And I was like, so stock options. That was a false thing. And then this is me being old timer wisdom. I've talked to you. is that you're so successful, you're so good at things that I felt like you were going through a life checklist of just making sure, what a person who's successful, this is the next thing they should do. So you bought a house too soon.
Yep.
You were just trying to go through the checklist of success, and I was like, Bo, slow down, enjoy each decade of your life. You have all the aptitude, you have all the tools, all the talents. It's going to happen for you naturally. So just make sure you're slowing down, enjoying each season of life, because sometimes you achievers and successful people, and I think a lot of financial mutants fall in that life trap, you'll just, you do it to the detriment of your long-term life. And that's, maybe I'm sentimental, maybe that's what my superpower as a financial mutant is, that I have the analytics, but I also have the creative or sentimental side that says, whoa, make sure that you're getting the life in there as well, so you have that life well lived. But otherwise, Bo's spectacular. There's a reason I think this show does so well. I hate to, yes, I started this show in 2006. And yes, Bo came on in 2010, but he has been really doing incredible things in my life since 2008. So it's been awesome.
It's been a fun ride.
Love it. Thanks for being a good sport.
JP, there you go. We only mentioned the ones that came top of mind. I'm sure there's a lot more out there that.
I could tell you more jokes, but more things. But
it worked out though.
I'll stop.
It all worked out.
Oh man,
that's fantastic. Well, hey, this is
one time I almost drowned. Brian saved my life.
I wasn't even go there. Everybody knows.
That one wasn't a financial misstep.
That would have been financial. Imagine if I'd have died 15 years ago trying to.
We'll close because Bo and I went to.
So leave that cliffhanger. This is what people come out.
Let's just say I had to dust off the David Hasselhoff lifeguard skills to ensure Bo was going to continue to be on the Money Guy show.
Real good at money, swimming.
Well,
land animal.
You remember how I told you successful people like Bo, who's good at everything. I mean, because he's a good athlete and good at baseball and all the things that have brought him success. And I guess he just didn't take the time to learn to swim.
Land animal.